right, I see the chat. I see y'all rocking, I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building, you know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, show your love, show your support, you know what I'm saying? This that dope soul, this that new thing. Nobody don't know about it, nobody don't know about it. In fact, J Boogie, let them know what time it is.
You tune in, that means you feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now.
Salute, Knick family. Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the NBK family. I'm your host, Stephanie. The Knicks have won 3 straight. They beat Atlanta in Atlanta 122 to 101. They led the entire game. I'll give you my takes on the game. We'll talk about the Knicks defense. We'll talk about RJ's bounce back game, I guess, if you want to call it. You know, if you want to call it that. We'll talk individual stats, team stats, and then, of course, we have 3 players participating in All-Star Weekend, so we'll talk about that as well. Salute to everybody in the chat, the replay gang that watches the show afterwards and leave comments. I really appreciate you guys and those that's going to be joining us later in the chat. So let's get into it. All right. The Knicks came into the game last night, 5 games over 500. I know we complain about the Knicks. Sometimes when you look on Twitter, you would think the Knicks were under 500 in the 12th spot in the Eastern Conference, right? But we're 5 games over 500. We came into the game 7th in the Eastern Conference, 6-4 over our last 10, having won our last 2. Atlanta came into the game at 500, 29-29, 8th in the Eastern Conference, 5-5 over their last 10 games, having lost their last game. We started the usual. Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Randall, Sims, Mitchell Robinson. Grimes is holding on. We'll see after the All-Star break. We've talked about it many times since Josh Hart was traded here. I'm okay either way. The starters for Atlanta, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, who left, I believe, in the 3rd or 4th quarter with an injury and didn't return, and Clint Capella. Nobody, as far as I know, that's in their rotation was unavailable last night. All right, let's get into my observations of the game. Listen, the Knicks right now are 6 games over 500. They led wire to wire in that game. They came out with a lot of energy. They came out on point. Randall had 12 points in the 1st quarter. RJ Barrett had 8 points in the 4th quarter. I thought RJ Barrett was more engaged. I thought his defense was better. You know, when you look at the stat sheet, he didn't shoot great, but still, I thought he played very well. He didn't hit his 3-pointers. I believe he was 0 for 6. But in terms of going to the basket, he was extremely aggressive, and he was hitting. He was making his shots at the rim. So in my opinion, statistically, it may not have looked that way. In terms of his energy and his aggressiveness and his assertiveness and looking engaged, I thought it was a bounce back game for RJ Barrett. The Knicks Atlanta was 1 for 15 in that first half. Like, the Knicks defense showed up. You know, they were flying all around. They were closing out. They were rotating. They were helping each other. You know, Tibbs said, you know, don't take the break before the break. You know, you got 8-9 days off. Let's get this one. And they came out and really played like their hair was on fire. Like, the energy was pumping, you know, off the screen. The Knicks had a 22-point lead at halftime. But listen, this is the NBA. A team is not going to just lie down and not make a run, right? In that 3rd quarter, Atlanta came out hitting shots. The Knicks weren't. And the next thing you know, the lead was cut from 22 to 15. It got as close as 11, right? But the Knicks answered every run. And this is what you need when you're trying to get back into a game, or you have a lead and you're trying to maintain a lead and kind of stall the run that they're on. You need timely shots. You need timely stops. You need timely rebounds, because you don't want to give them second chance opportunities, second chance points. And the Knicks got all of it. They got timely shots. Obi Toppin and Josh Hart in the fourth quarter, to start the fourth quarter, 2 3-pointers. Right? I think Obi had 3 3-pointers in the game. They were all big, and 2 of them were really big. Right? Quickly hit a timely shot to help stop their run. Randall got 2 offensive rebounds and putbacks to help stop their run. And that's what it is, that bend don't break. It's an NBA team, they're professionals. They're going to come back. What are you going to do? And I thought the Knicks responded, you know, big time. I was impressed with their energy from the start. And again, I was impressed with how they handled the run. I think, and we'll get into the individual stats, Trae Young was shot 17% from the 3-point line. DeJounte Murray had, I believe, 6 points. Listen, the Knicks are a good team. There's some consistency issues that we seem to be, working out. But the Knicks are a really good team, and we're getting bench support. The Knicks have 44 bench points last night, right? Let me see if I can pull that up. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Quickly had 14. Here it is. Quickly had 14. Josh Hart had 13. Obi Toppin had 11 points. Loved how Obi Toppin played. He also seemed to be playing with a bit more energy as well. Hart had 6 points, I believe, 11 rebounds, 3 block shots. And that was another thing. Timely blocks. One of those blocks he got, we really needed a block at that time. So love the way the bench has been playing as well. The Knicks are 8-6, without Mitchell Robinson. Hopefully he returns right after the All-Star break. We shall see. There's only 22 games left in the season. I mean, this season is going really fast. 22 games. And right now, we'll talk about it a little later, the Knicks are 6th in the Eastern Conference. They're a half game above Miami, who lost last night to the Nets. They are 2 games out of 5th place. And they are 3 games, if I'm not mistaken, ahead of the Atlanta Hawks. So I'm loving my Knicks and how they've been playing. Let me get to the chat. Let me see what you guys think. JJ Hartenstock gave us really good rim protection last night. Hart is night and day. Now, I know in the beginning they were talking, he said he had an Achilles injury. Maybe it's better because he just looks more mobile. He just looks more mobile. I mean, that block and some of the other things that he does, you could just tell that he's moving better. I'm really loving Hart. I'm glad he wasn't traded at the deadline. I'm not sure if they were looking to trade him, but I'm just happy that that he's still here. Shout out to Paris Duggar, Akeem, the Dream Brunson. His footwork is incredible. Absolutely. And I think he further put to rest the narrative that he struggles with longer players. He gave DeJounte Murray the business last night. There was nothing DeJounte Murray could do with Brunson. When Brunson is right and he's on his game and he's not injured, he can score against anybody, and I think he's just at the point, right now where this is just who he is. This is not a good game. And Tibbs said so in the press conference. At some point, you have to get beyond, he's having a good game. He's having a good stretch. He's having a good season. And you just get to the point where this is just who he is. And I think that's where we are with Brunson. Salute to Ron, still Knick fans. Our fans, appreciate you. If you guys haven't subscribed to that channel, please do so. I think they put out content Monday night. Ron has a show Saturday morning, Know the Ledge. And then they also, him and his partner, John, does the NBA report on the Nothing But Knicks channel. And that's Thursdays at 8 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. So be sure to check them out. They put out good content. And he's a good dude, too. DJ Space Ghost, Knicks are learning to maintain leads after a tough start to the season. Yeah, I agree. And, maybe part of it was just, this is a new team, relatively speaking. You're not just bringing in a small piece, you're bringing in Brunson, right? Who's a high usage guy. So maybe it was just about, taking some time to get used to each other and just taking some time to learn how to close games. So I agree with you, DJ Space Ghost. Jeff Clafter, appreciate you. Julius had a couple of huge buckets in the third to quell the run. That's what you need. That's what you need. Like at the end of the game, you'll see somebody got 30 points, 20 points, 8 points. But when we needed that key basket, they couldn't get it. So I look at both. I look at how a player plays throughout the game, but I also look at key points in the game when we're trying to get back into a game or we're trying to keep the opposing team from getting back in the game. Can you get us that key shot? Can you get us that key rebound, that key block, a steal, a deflection, anything to help quell the run, Jeff Clafter? And we did that last night multiple times because Atlanta made multiple runs. Tarnell Nettingham, I hope I got that right. Knicks are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I got money on it. I mean, if the season ended today, the Knicks would play Philadelphia, right? Because 6 play 3. I'm not afraid of Philadelphia. Philadelphia has had their issues in the playoffs. Obviously they have Embiid, they have Harden, so those two guys are stars in this league. And as well as Brunson and Randall have been playing, they're not at that level yet, though in my opinion, you can argue Brunson is. I really think this guy's headed for stardom. He's yet to reach his prime. But I would love that, Tarnell. I would love it. DJ Space goes, RJ just needs to knock down the open 3 and play better defense. Yeah, I thought he played better defense last night. And obviously the 3 just wasn't falling, and 2 of them were air balls. So I'm not quite sure air ball. Like is that a confidence issue? You just misjudged the shot? I don't get it. Kareem Grant, appreciate you. Great morning to everybody in the chat and much love. I appreciate you. Teddy Cincinnati, I appreciate you as well. Andrew K. Atlanta never did solve the Knicks defense that completely eliminated Young and Murray. And see, the Knicks have options now, right? And you could say they're undersized options, but still defensively we have options, right? You got IQ, who's a really good perimeter defense, though Trae Young did blow by him on 1 or 2 possessions. But for the most part, IQ is a very good perimeter defender. Grimes is a very good perimeter defender. And now you got Josh Hart, who's also a very good perimeter defender. He's a bit stronger. So whereas before, even though Quickly was a good defender, perimeter defender, he gave up some girth. Now you can go with Grimes and Hart at the 2-3 position. And even though you're giving up some inches with Hart, he's really strong. So it's not about overpowering him, so to speak. He has a 8.5, 6'9" wingspan, right? So he can contest the shot as well. The Knicks have more options on the defensive end. Tim Smith, appreciate you. 45 this year, 50 next year. For me, when you hit 50, you're becoming a legit contender or close to it. That's a very good point. Now, that's a very good point, because some would argue, well, you're not a legit contender if you don't have a star. But if you're winning 50 games, how did you get there? How did you get? Somebody was playing well, So that's a good point. Jeff Clafter, we are on pace for 45 wins. Wow. David L., appreciate you. Hart and Sims were awesome on the boards. Box out, rebounds, everything. Yeah, they were. All right. This is just a quick glance at the lead tracker. And as you can see, the Knicks had the lead from start to finish, right? Our biggest lead was 25. Atlanta never led in this game. There were no lead changes. The game was never tied. The Knicks took this from the beginning. All right, just go over the scorers real quick. Brunson, 28 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 52.6% from the field. He's just been steady. I think he's averaging 31.5 points over his last 10 games. Just a monster, this Brunson guy. Randall, 25 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 47.4% from the field. We talked about it. Some timely rebounding and putbacks, right, to help quell the run. Barrett, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. Did not shoot well from the field. 37.6% from the field. Missed all 6 of his three-point shots. But for whatever reason, to me, he just looked a little different. Let me know what you think about that. Did Barrett look the same to you, or did he look just a little bit different? I thought the defense was better. I thought he was a bit more aggressive. I don't know. He just looked different to me, though. Statistically, 17 points on 16 shots. Quickly, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 3-pointers. I'm just loving Quickly right now. The Knicks shot 46.9% from the field, 32.6% from the three-point line, which is under league average. But Atlanta shot 19.2% from the three-point line. The Knicks shot 81.8% from the free throw line. They went there 22 times and hit 18. For Atlanta, Hunter was their leading scorer. 20 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 3-pointers, 60% from the field. Young, 19 points, 11 assists, 4 steals, shot only 28.6% from the field. And he hasn't been shooting well, if I'm not mistaken, from the field or the three-point line this season. He gets his points because he just gets up so many shots, right? Griffin, the rookie, 12 points, 2 rebounds, shot 50% from the field. Bogdanovich, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 60% from the field. The Knicks were all over Atlanta. That's just the bottom line. They shot 41.2% from the field, only 19.2% from the three-point line, as I mentioned earlier, and 76.2% from the free throw line. And this is the type of defense and the type of effort we're going to need from the Knicks, right? They don't play again until next week, Friday. They play the Washington Wizards, who are playing well. We'll get into that as well. Let me see. Anybody else I want to point out? Grimes, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist in 24 minutes. Grimes' minutes has went down some from 30 to about 23, 24. I'm okay with that. With Josh Hart, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 3-pointers in 25 minutes. We talked about Hart, 6 points, 11 rebounds, 4 of them offensive. And we need those second chance opportunities, right? That's what Mitch did for us, right? And Hart's been doing it all season as well. But obviously we need it more now that Mitch is missing. And Randall had 3 offensive rebounds. Obi Toppin, 11 points. He only played 13 minutes. He's put up 7 shots, hit 4 of them, and he hit 3 out of 6 3-pointers. And I didn't think Obi Toppin was forcing it either. I thought, he got his shots within the flow of the game. He got a backdoor dunk. I forget if that was off of Brunson or Quickly. So I thought Obi Toppin played well last night. Defensively, that's up and down for him. It just is what it is. All right, team stats, and then I'll check back in with the chat. Points in the paint. Wow, the Knicks were, Atlanta had more points in the paint than the Knicks. That doesn't happen often, but they were 0.8 in terms of +8, Atlanta was in terms of points in the paint. Second chance points, the Knicks had 21-6. The Knicks controlled the boards. +17 on the board. 67 rebounds for the Knicks, 50 for Atlanta. 21 second chance points, right? Not just second chance opportunities. It's one thing to get an offensive rebound. It's another thing to score off of that offensive rebound. And the Knicks had 21 second chance points. Atlanta had 6. I don't have their stats in front of me in terms of how many offensive rebounds they had, but they weren't putting them back up. They had 6 second chance points, and the Knicks had 30 fast break points. This is an anomaly. This is an anomaly for the Knicks, but I'll take it. 30 fast break points. Pushing the ball ahead, hitting ahead, going coast to coast, making your layups when you do that, right? And the bench points, 44-38. I'm loving the bench. So to your point, Ron, I know the other day you said, let Josh Hart stay in that second unit. the bench can use that. And, I can't argue with you in terms of how the bench has been playing since he's been here. 44 points last night. All right, let me check in with the chat. Jeff Clafter, I don't think who starts matters near as much as who closes. We have versatility now as our four wings, RJ, IQ, J Hart, and Grimes, all bring different talents to the table. Agreed. And it's not like the first unit is struggling. The Knicks are a very good first quarter team. So you're right. It's not like the first team is struggling. Thuney _ got it. Thuney or Thunny, I hope I got that right. The Knicks will catch the Nets and finish top 5 in the East. Book it. 4 plays 5. That would be a matchup. That would be a matchup with Cleveland. I'm okay with that. James Glass, how long until Atlanta blows it up? Yeah, I know. Sean Kearns, I hope JB gets the nod for the All-Star game. So do I. If who is that? Jaylen Brown with the facial fracture decides not to play, and then there's a chance DeMar DeRozan doesn't play. I don't know if anyone has heard anything about whether those two guys will play. It's not just Brunson. Harding, is a possibility. Trae Young, if you're just looking at his counting stats and you're not looking at where the team is in the Eastern Conference and you're not looking at his percentages, his efficiency, and you're just looking at his numbers, I think he's 26-10. So he's a possibility as well. But Brunson has the stats and his team is in 6th place. I think, it's possible that they don't want to send 2 players from a 6th place team to the All-Star break. That's usually reserved for the top teams in the league. But we shall see. Shaw Legacy, appreciate you. This team is starting to have fun beating the opponents. And I'm starting to have fun watching them. Because some games, some days it's not fun for me. Keith Turner, I have a question. Why Tibbs don't start Hartenstein the way he's been playing while Mitch has been out? Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think he might be just trying to keep that second unit intact. Ihart has been running with the second unit, since the beginning of the season. So now with Mitch is out, you got changes in the first unit. Then you put Ihart in the first unit. Now you got changes in the second unit. So maybe he's just trying to keep at least one of those units intact. Salute, Staffer. Hopefully I'll see you tonight. All right. El Servi or Servi. RJ is the only, I guess, one left that has to accept his role on the team. Hopefully he does. I mean, I don't know if he's not accepting his, unless you feel like, he's sulking over the fact that his usage is down just a little. His usage is down, I think, from like 27% to 25%. That's just a small drop in usage. But in terms of his role, I think it's the same. Hit your shots, play good defense. RJ, and Grimes wouldn't be starters on most NBA teams. Yeah, maybe, maybe. Playoff teams, you're probably right. Pudge Nice still thinks that Hart is starting soon. I don't know, Pudge Nice, it's going good. We've won 3 straight with him coming off the bench. He thinks Grimes is going to the bench after the All-Star game. David L. RJ was better, but he had Bay, Hunter, Bogdanovich. He means not Kawhi, PG on assignment this game. That's different. Yeah. Bo Ishmael, Nate McMillan getting fired. I'm calling it now. And this is what I'm saying about coaches. You're a good coach or you're a bad coach, depending on how your team is playing. Nate McMillan is the same coach that coached that team when they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. and they gave him a contract because remember he was an interim coach. I think Lloyd got fired that season. I think that was his name. McMillan was an assistant coach. He took over as the interim head coach. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals. He got a contract. Now he's a bad coach. They're complaining about him. If you go into the chats, and shout out to Ajay who sent me a video of a content creator talking about the Philadelphia 76ers and Doc Rivers. They're in third place. They are not happy with Doc Rivers, right? Atlanta was loving Nate McMillan when they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now they can't stand him. It's just for a coach is if you're winning, what have you done for me lately? If you're winning, you're a good coach. If you're losing, you need to leave. That's just how it is. Jeff Clafton, we didn't shoot that well and still put up 122 points. This offense is crazy. And it is. And listen, they double teamed Brunson at times, but you got Randall. You have a release valve, so you got to choose. You can't double everybody, right? So repping old school, appreciate you. Quickly has greatly improved his court vision and toned down Chuck. RJ will improve on D, but needs to develop mid-range. He'll never be a great three-point shooter. You might be right about that. But 35% is around league average, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he can do that. Pudge Nice, 48 wins. I said from Summer, El Servi, we have 2 stars. Yeah. All right. Let's get into, before we get into our next game, the Knicks do not play again until next week, Friday. This is the All-Star break for those who don't know. And the Knicks have 3 All-Star participants, right? So Quentin Grimes will be playing in the Rising Stars game Friday. That game starts at 9 p.m. There are 4 teams. They play a little tournament now, right? I think it's 8 or 10. I'm not sure. But anyway, they play a little tournament. They have 4 teams. 3 teams are made up of a mix of rookie and sophomore players, first and second year players, and then they have a G League team as well, right? And so it's a little tournament, that they'll play, and then the winner of the first 2 games will play each other. So that is Friday at 9 p.m. Quentin Grimes, congrats to him. Saturday, Jericho Sims will be in the slam dunk contest. Saturday, February 18th, 8 p.m. Now, the festivities start at 8 p.m., right? There's a few other things. They got the three-point shooting contest. They got the skill contest. So I'm not sure exactly when the slam dunk contest is, but the festivities start at 8 p.m. And I'm super interested in how this goes down for Jericho Sims because he's not a very vibrant type person, and in the slam dunk contest, a lot of it is your dunk, but a lot of it is also the showmanship as well. I don't know how he's going to do with the showmanship part of the contest, and that can cause you points. Now, they asked him about that, and he said he's going to let his dunks speak for himself. Now, without the showmanship, your dunks better be like over the top. So let's see. He said he likes the old school dunkers. Maybe he brings back some Dominique Wilkins, Michael Jordan type dunks. We shall see. And then Sunday is the big game, the All-Star game. Sunday, February 19th. That game starts at 8 p.m. and Julius Randle will play in that game. They're doing something different now. They're not choosing the teams till about 10 minutes or so prior to tip-off. So if you've ever played on the playground, you just get to the playground and everybody's standing around and there's 2 people that pick their team right there on the spot. That's what's going to happen for this All-Star game. Listen, the All-Star game, Randall can handle the ball, so maybe he'll do well. But if you're a big in this All-Star game, you're at the mercy of the other players passing the ball. Basically, you're at the mercy of the other players passing the ball. But Randall can bring the ball up. He can generate his own shots. So I would just say, don't get disappointed if he doesn't do well. It's an all-star game. All right. JJ, dunk contest doesn't get people excited anymore because there's usually no names in it now. Yeah. Sims getting a 50 dunk. David L. We'll see. Keith Turner. Do I hate Tibbs? No, but he's not the guy that's going to bring this team to the next level. Listen, no, they didn't think Budenholzer was going to bring Milwaukee to the next level. You're not going to know until you have the talent in the house. But I do hear you. James Glass, Jericho Sims isn't going to make a single facial expression the whole dunk contest. That's what I'm saying. That showmanship is a part of it. So if you're not going to do that, your dunks better really, really be on point. All right. Bayside Jr., I like the little turnaround fadeaway shot RJ had. RJ's usage is still high. It is. He's still getting shots. I don't think he is sulking. He's just not playing well. When you lose or not play well, these narratives manifest. Yeah, I agree. I do wonder, sulking may be a little strong, but I do wonder if he has some feelings about the fact that he's not the second best player on the team right now. Things always change in the NBA. All right. The Knicks are sixth in the Eastern Conference right now. They are 2 games behind the 5th place Nets, as we talked about earlier, and a half game ahead of the 7th place Miami Heat. And the Knicks are now 3.5 games ahead of the Atlanta Hawks. It's going to be a dog fight after the All-Star break. But I think the Knicks schedule eases up. I think they said the Knicks had the 9th hardest schedule after the All-Star break. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So it's getting a little easier. And if that is in fact correct. But I thought the Knicks was doing well with the tough schedule, right? Every time we look at the schedule, oh, they're going to lose these next 3 games. They go 2-1. Oh, they're going to lose these next 4 games. They go 3-1. So the Knicks are a good team. I think at some point we have to accept that we have a good team. Do we make mistakes? Yes, but all teams do. All teams do. All right, our next game is next week, Friday, right? Long All-Star break. We can get some rest as well. The Knicks right now are 33-27, 6 games over 500. 6th in the Eastern Conference, 6-4 over their last 10. We've won 3 straight. Washington is 3 games under. Is that right? 27-30, 3 games under 500. 10th in the Eastern Conference, 6-4 over their last 10. They won their last game. But they've been playing pretty well over their last 10. They're 2nd in offense per 100 possessions. They're 16th in defense in terms of defensive rating. And they're 4th in net rating, the difference between their offense and defense. So they're actually playing better than us offensively and better than us defensively. Obviously, they've played different teams than we've played over the last 10. We've played them twice so far, and we're 1-1. I anticipate the same starters. Does Josh Hart move, into the starting lineup, over the All-Star break where they get a chance to practice a little? Remember, there is a period during the All-Star break where teams are not allowed to practice, right? You don't want to get an edge, a competitive advantage where some teams are not practicing because they got players in the All-Star team and others are playing. I think I'm correct about that there's a break where no one is allowed to practice as a team. All right. And in terms of next week's game, their projected starters are Monty Morris, Bradley Beal, Corey Kispert, Kristaps Porzingis, and Daniel Gafford. Man, we got 22 games left. What can we do in those 22 games? I am super excited about the possibilities with this team. Tonight, the Just Nicking It show, me, Jerrell, Ajay, Staffordon, Wiz, if he wants to join. If anybody wants to join, DM me. You could definitely come on the show. And then Monday, 8:30 p.m., Queens Court on the Nothing But Knicks channel. No more morning recaps until next, Saturday, February 25th. So there'll be a break unless I decide to do a pop-up show. I might decide to just come on one morning. We shall see. Anyway, let me give some shout outs on my way out the building. Jeff Clafter, yeah, definitely catch the show. And Jeff, if you ever want to come on, feel free. JJ, appreciate you. Muhammad Alavi, I appreciate you. DJ Space Goat, who thinks 4th seed for the Knicks before it's all over. He put the LOL in there. Reppin' Old School, I appreciate you. Sean Kearns, White Falcon 44, Kerry Cox, Building Blocks, David L, James Glass, Reppin' Old School. I might say some names twice. Y'all know my condition, and I might miss some. Pudge Nice, Keith Turner, Parrish Duggar, I appreciate you as well. Let me see. I think RC Creative. I think Thony _ got it. Appreciate you. I think Tim Smith. I appreciate you as well. Gerald D. MacGyver. Andrew K. I appreciate you. And the replay game. You know, those that consistently, watch the show, watch the show after it's over later on in the day. You leave your comments. I appreciate you as well. Until next time, family.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.